we are live again, and we apologize for any technology issues that we may have had in the past. Kind of a quick recap. First Facebook Live of 2021 obviously comes with some hiccups and challenges. Both, it's really just testing the patience of myself and Howard and Linda, but I think we're up for the challenge. Howard and Linda, again, I want to thank you guys for taking some time today, obviously showing your patience with our technology miscues, if you will. But we're going to be kind of just talking about you guys, how you got started, and you know, what the future holds. Because if anything that 2020 taught us is that things are going to change. And Linda, you use the analogy of like a bump in the road, and you know, I think we just experienced one, and we're just moving forward. And you know, I think one of the biggest parts about the intro is if you do have any comments, either for Wholesale Warranties or more importantly for RV Dreams, please leave them in the comment section. We'll do our best to answer them live and or make sure that we get to them as soon as we can. But you guys were in the process, I believe, Linda, you were in the process of kind of giving us an idea of how you guys got started, and really the importance there, I think, for a lot of our followers is we have a lot of people who are new to the RV industry, that the pandemic has really pushed a presence over into that space. And as you were saying, back in 2005 is when you guys decided that this was a lifestyle. And so I want to kind of give the microphone back to you and have you kind of educate a lot of our followers with your guys' story. And when we use the terminology that you guys are kind of the blogging gurus of the RV full timers, you know, there's some experience behind that. So with that said, I want to kind of hand it back to you and have you kind of walk us through it.
Okay.
All right.
So Howard started researching when I came up with the crazy idea of selling our house, quitting our jobs, and hitting the road. Howard researched it. This was at the end of 2004, and he could only find maybe one or two blogs of people that were out there blogging, and maybe only one that was blogging daily. And that person was already retired, had his Medicare and had a pension and fixed income. And so he was going, there's nobody out there that's this young, age 41, going out there without any fixed income. And we always just believed in ourselves. I said, I think we're going to love the lifestyle. We didn't know if we would because we didn't have any experience at all. We just had to go with our gut. And we wanted a life change, and we knew that it was going to have to be drastic for us to be able to change our lives. It had to be something completely different. So that's when I came up with the idea of let's get an RV and travel, because we found out traveling was something that we loved and it brought us closer together. So we quit our jobs, we sold our house, we bought a 40-foot fifth wheel and an F450 pickup truck.
We gave 6 months of work.
Yeah.
I was running 7 offices of a real estate title company. Linda was running my biggest office. So we were in a stressful environment, and
Right.
we had all the stuff. We had the big house, we had the nice cars, the country club membership. We had all those things that seemed to indicate American dream, but we were still stressed out about it, and we weren't as close as we should be as husband and wife. So our trip to Alaska in 2004 really made it clear to us that travel and nature was what we loved, and it connected us better. So
we hit the road without any RVing experience whatsoever, maybe a little bit of information and knowledge that he found on the internet, but back in 2004 and 5, there wasn't much.
Well, our big concern was, what's this going to cost us?
Right.
You know, because again, we didn't have any fixed income, so we weren't sure what it was going to cost. And it was hard to find that information. You know, I could find a couple of people that would put out their expenses, and they would say, well, this doesn't include health insurance, or this doesn't include RV payments. And so I really struggled to come up with a budget. And then we decided, if we're going to start this website, we're going to keep track of every penny we spend, and we're going to display it for everyone to give everybody kind of a starting position. So our entire financial life was an open book, which attracted
a lot of people,
readers,
a lot of younger people, because they were wanting to make the life changes or thought they might want to. So our website became quite popular for numbers on how much does it cost.
Well, and being so transparent, you know, with your guys' finances and sharing your story, especially back in 2005, and you know, you were saying at 40 years old, being able to show other people what you're experiencing. Not only, you know, you can kind of picture it up, right? And what I mean by that is like showing nice pictures of this travel experience or that travel experience, but really what you guys were trying to show was that here's the financial aspect of it, because it is a huge change going from, you know, and I think one of the best things that I heard, and I think we've talked about this before. I love how when you paint the picture of the American dream, right? Howard, you kind of, I'll air quote you on that one. You had the successful job, the big house and the cars, and typically that's it. And then a simple, not simple, but a very bonding trip to Alaska kind of made you guys take a step back to be like, wow, that trip and that experience and that just being us helped connect you guys. And you guys kind of looked at each other and said, hey, if we want this marriage to work, that whole stressful scenario isn't in our cards.
Right.
There's a deeper happiness out there.
Right.
And we were doing okay, but
we found the deep happiness, and that's what was more important to us than money. So we gave up the money and all the possessions to experience. And what we found was we started living, we started experiencing, and that is so worth all of the things we gave up and the money that we gave up, the incomes, and was just to experience life. Yeah.
And to kind of go along the same line is it's very easy to show all the great things about being an RVer. So you can really pretty it up, but what we wanted to show was the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we tried to be as transparent as possible. You know, it is still life. You still have to do laundry. You have to go grocery shopping. You have to dump your tanks. I mean, there are some unattractive aspects of it, and we just wanted to show all of it and how we worked our way through it, and not just show the puppies and rainbows and flowers and big mountains and stuff. So that was really important to us to show what the life was really like, and we talked about our really high highs and our really low lows and everything in between.
Yeah, I just to echo that, I think for you guys, especially, you know, for the past 15 years, how you guys have shown those things, right? And I look at the RVing community, and I've always taken it as a very educated and savvy person, right? Because either you have the discretionary income to go out and get an RV, or you're transitioning from I'm going to move from this sticks and bricks and I'm going to go into this rig. Mm-hmm. But either one of those cases usually involves some pretty good thinking, some pretty, you know, successful times on a professional side, on the standstill side. And so when you are talking about, with my kids always use rainbows and unicorns, and you were kind of saying the same thing. You can paint whatever picture, you know, you want, but when you're transparent and say, look, you're emptying tanks and driving for hours looking for this and not having room for that. And, you know, I think that's one of the reasons that you guys literally did become the trailblazers and kind of set the bar so high for being, if you're going to full time, these are the things that you're going to run into. So it's amazing to see how you guys have grown and looking at your numbers, you know, over the years. You know, kind of transitioning that into the RVing, you know, over this past year has seen a whole bunch of different things, right? From pandemics and closures and all sorts of things. That community is just changing so much. We have some veteran RVers, you know, transitioning to sticks and bricks. And while there's a lot of other people who are going out there and full-timing and doing exactly what you referenced back in 2004, 2005, 40 years old, how do we do it and still support? You know, can you tell us a little bit about how your RV journey has kind of changed this year?
Sure. We were on the road almost 15 years. And when we started out, we thought that we would probably be indefinite RVers, you know, living in our RV. When we couldn't travel anymore, we would park our fifth wheel in a park somewhere and just live our lives out in our fifth wheel somewhere. But things change. Parents passed away, and just life changes. And a few years ago, we started thinking, I don't know if we're going to be on the road another, 10, 15 years. So we started thinking about options. And one of the things that happened was we ended up inheriting a house. My father passed away, and we thought we were going to have to sell his house to take care of him, long-term care. But he ended up, we found some benefits for him, and he ended up passing away at home. We ended up with a house that we didn't really want, but we sold it. That gave us some funds to purchase another house somewhere, just kind of as a backup plan. And once that happened, once we knew we weren't necessarily going to be living in our fifth wheel for the rest of our lives, that kind of changed our direction a little bit. To 2018, we downsized from the 40-foot fifth wheel, and we bought a 30-foot motorhome, Winnebago Class C motorhome, just to try a different style, but knowing we weren't going to be living in that long term. So we traveled around, again, traveling differently, not as comfortably as the fifth wheel, but a little more nimble. We traveled a lot more miles than we did in the fifth wheel, but we were winding down. So we saw that it was time for us to do something different. And it was becoming, and this is horrible to say, but it was becoming really, really hard to impress us in what we were seeing out there.
Because we'd seen so much.
We have done and seen so much, and people would say, "Oh, you've got to go here and see this," and we would go there and see that, and we go, I've seen better. So we're kind of spoiled ourselves, and it was just 15 years seemed like enough, and we decided to move to here in Central Florida in the Villages community. It's the largest retirement community in the world, and tons and tons of activities. And I felt like I needed that. I'm a sports fanatic, and I needed to be active in order to not focus on leaving behind the nature part of it so much. It's still really important to us. So in 2019, we decided we were going to do one last big adventure in our RV. So we went to Alaska. So we spent 5 months, the summer of 2019, in Alaska and Canada, and we just made it the most epic trip you could possibly make.
It brings tears to my eyes because we decided to have Alaska be the beginning and the end of the RV adventure, and it was the most amazing. Alaska did not disappoint again. I mean, because it changed our lives. I mean, I always tell people that trip changed our entire lives, and we wanted to go back because we were only there for 2 weeks, and we wanted to go back. We wanted to go back and give it its due, and it did not disappoint. It was the best bang for the end of our adventure. I mean, it was just incredible.
We have every day, we blog every single day with photos and videos, and it's all, if you Google RV-Dreams Alaska, it will come up and shows our whole planning process and every day of blog, and just what an amazing, amazing adventure it was. And And we came back from that and we decided, okay, we're going to settle down in the Villages. We had purchased a home. And then we got here, we had a long-term tenant in it while we were still traveling. He was a nice guy, didn't want to own property. He was paying his rent. So we left him there and we bought a different villa. So
perfect.
So we ended up buying another villa in the Villages, and it's just
it's fun playing house again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
I do a little dance every time I start my dishwasher.
Okay. I mean,
I play pickleball. Yeah. I play pickleball 6 days a week. I bowl 2 nights a week. I'm bowling tonight. I play softball 2 days a week. I've golfed twice this week. There are 40 executive courses here and 12 championship golf courses here. And I mean, there's just so much to keep me active. 218 pickleball courts. It's crazy.
He's addicted to pickleball.
Yeah. So we just decided to settle down, and as we were finding that if you look at our website and our blog, it looks like it was built in the 70s. I mean, because we're not that technologically savvy. Editing video is hard work. It takes a lot of time, and I'm not that motivated to do that. So we just kind of saw the writing on the wall that it was time to let the newer, smarter folks take over the reins as far as the social networking in the blog world, and being influencers. We didn't even know what that was when we started. So yeah, and then just
so we think it was good timing. We
good
really
timing.
do. We feel like everything just kind of fell into place, just like it did back in 2004 and 5.
Right.
Everything just kind of fell in place, and then
COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit, and I'm going, oh, I have a house to live in. I can quarantine in a house instead of in the RV, and so I mean, we're happy.
Yeah. So we put our RV in storage, with plans to continue to travel. Linda had a 2-week sister trip planned for July. That all got canceled because of COVID. We were still going to do some events. We had a spring rally scheduled that was full of people, and we ended up having to cancel that, and we refunded everybody's full amount. And so that was a burden on us. We had some RV shows we were supposed to speak at.
They all got canceled.
So, so we were just kind of here hanging out, and the motorhome was in storage. And so in the last couple of weeks, we just decided, okay, I don't like an RV just sitting. They work much better when they're being used, and didn't like paying the insurance and the storage fees and all that. And so a couple of weeks ago, we just made a decision to sell our motorhome, and we did that a little over a week ago. Sold our motorhome. So we're without an RV for the first time in over 15 years, and so.
But it doesn't mean it may not happen again.
We could certainly end up with another one. There are a lot of RVers here in the Villages, and so I'm
all right. Let Jim talk.
I'm kind of becoming the go-to guy when people are looking at RVs now here. So so it's okay. We keep our foot in the world anyway.
Yeah. Well, no. And was it hard to let go of the RV, or was
Not
it
that
relatively?
It's hard to let go of the fifth wheel.
The fifth wheel was the hard one to let go. That one I had a lot of tears, but the little one, it was pretty easy.
Yeah. So it was probably a good thing we made that transition in 2018, and that made this easier.
It did.
But
and just kind of a step down, and a little bit of a step down, and a little bit easier to absorb that that this is the next chapter that you guys are going into. But again, I think your story it holds so true to me, when you started in Alaska, and it was a short trip, but that's really what bonded you guys as a couple. And then when you went back 15 years later after RVing full time, and, you were influencers before the term influencers even existed, and you didn't do the influencing. I'm also not very up to date on my social media. So you were doing those things, without even knowing that, you were providing a purpose, and you were providing information, and you were providing suggestions. And so it's not shocking to me, Howard, that in the villages, people are going to come to you and ask you about this or ask you about that. And they may not even have, done the research on RV Dreams to see how much experience and knowledge y'all have.
Right.
But you bring up COVID, and obviously COVID has changed a lot of us, personally and professionally. And I know you had some spring rallies, and I've been hearing of, an RV Dreams rally, maybe a final rally this year. Can you share or talk a little bit about that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We did have to cancel the spring. That was last April, and we were able to continue. We were able to do one in the fall. It was a small one for some people that were, that felt like they could get out. So we did a small one in the fall.
It was about 39 people.
Yeah.
So we felt pretty safe. We spread everybody out. We wore masks, and it turned out great. But it was very small.
But at the same time we scheduled that one, we went ahead and scheduled one for April of next year for people who might want to wait a little bit longer to see how things play out. So we transferred some registrations over to April of 2021, and it's open for registration right now. We haven't done a whole lot of promotion because we're still kind of feel things out. Now that vaccinations are coming out, we think it will start filling up. But yeah, we have designated this one in 2021 as our last one. I think it will be the 20th educational rally, 6 days of just education and fun, and people meet lifelong friends, and it's a wonderful event. Our last opportunity to share as much knowledge as we can in 6 days live.
We have about 16 to 18 seminars that we do over those 6 days. Lots of fun built in as well. And the family and the community that our attendees get from being around others that have the same wants and goals of going full time. It gives you the courage that maybe there's others like me that want to do this. I'm not crazy, because see, when you're in your normal life and there's not others around you thinking about going full time, they all think you're crazy. So, so when you're at these rallies, you meet all these other people and you're going, hey, I'm not crazy. There's other people that want to do this, So, anyway, we really, really hope we get a good turnout. We hope we get to have it. That would be the number one thing, is that we hope to get to have it.
It looks promising so far. Yeah,
so
right
if it turns out to be another small one, that's okay. All the people that came to the one in the fall, they said having that intimate number of people and getting to spend a lot of time with Howard and I, because, it was such a small group. They said, we can't even imagine what it would be like with 175 people, so usually what our Tennessee rallies, they're usually 175 with a waiting list.
Yeah. So Sevierville, Tennessee, April 26th through May 2nd. And just Google RV Dreams Rally, and that'll take you to the information page and the registration page. And we are happy to discuss it with anyone. You don't have to have an RV. About 30% of our attendees over all these years haven't had RVs.
And guess what? We won't have an RV.
We won't either. They have.
So we're gonna rent a tiny house. They have little tiny houses, and at the RV park. So we're gonna stay in a tiny house.
Yeah. Tiny houses and safari tents, glamping safari tents, and then all kinds of accommodations around the RV park. So
so that'll be a first. We won't have an RV there, so.
But, we're looking forward to that. We have one RV show. A bunch canceled already the first of this year, but I think we have an RV show in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the last weekend of February. That one seems to be going forward. So that, and in our rally. And then if Myrtle Beach goes in February, it'll go again in October.
And we've committed to do that
we've
show.
committed to do that one as well. So, but yeah, we're winding down our
your last chance to pick our brains in person.
Once you move to the villages,
yeah,
we have several of our community that are moving here.
Yeah, we have a lot of, not a lot, but we have a handful of people that were RV Dreams followers that have now got off the road and they're here in the villages.
Yeah.
I was going to say that now that you've put out where you live, that if people do have questions, they can always track you down in the villages. It may take them a little bit to find you because it is a larger place. But now that we know that y'all are out bowling, golfing, you know, pickleball, you just sit on a pickleball court and you're bound to run into Howard at one time or another, considering how many there are. Yeah, so I know that if I ever need to find Howard, I'll just sit at a pickleball court at the villages in Florida, and at some point I will run into him, probably within a short amount of time, and then I can pick his brain.
Right.
You know, I wish you guys luck for the April for your final rally. I wouldn't be surprised that as the vaccine rolls out, that attendee list probably starts to increase, and you'll probably have a waiting list again. I only see it through my lenses out here out west and how those vaccines are going and how the people are reacting after they get them. So there is that kind of hesitation, but I wouldn't be shocked if you know, if you guys don't get maxed out. I know we internally we're kind of joking about sending our affiliate manager out there and having her rent an RV and get down there and roll up her sleeves and you know, and hopefully we can make that a reality this year, because it is a big deal. I mean, what you guys not only did for yourselves, right? The way that this all kind of worked itself out was really on the notion of getting the two of you closer together. But in turn, what the rest of us in the RV community were able to learn, you know, there are probably hundreds, if not thousands of stories of RVers out there that really gravitated to Howard and Linda, whether it was in 05 or in, you know, 18, that your ability to share, not only share your story, but share it, to your point, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, you helped so many along the way, and
you're making me cry.
You know,
would you stop?
That's not the goal. That is not the goal. I am not that type of journalist. No, but
I keep thinking about all the wonderful people we met on the road. I mean, we have some of the best friends, and we're still friends that we met on the road, and we would have never met these people in our normal lives. And to have all these friends across the country, in Canada and other countries as well, because we, you know, met people from other countries that found RV Dreams, and they came to the US to travel, you know, and so it's just amazing the people that you meet in this lifestyle. It's just, that's why I start crying, because I started thinking of all the people and all the times that people have said, you're an inspiration, you helped us change our lives, you know, you brought us joy, and you know, it's really cool.
Yeah. And I'm trying to say it for all the ones that didn't reach out or that couldn't reach out or that wanted to and maybe forgot. I mean, I can't, just from our point of view, right? When we look at wholesale warranties, the ones that reach back, there's probably 2, 3, 4 times as many who are just as happy or just as satisfied who may not share that news. So I think where and why I was sharing that is, you know, your RV Dreams rally, 6 days, pick my brain. You know, to me, that's kind of a I don't know, a calling to be like, okay, let's get out there and let's listen, because you guys really lived it for such a long time. And everybody has a different chapter, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. There's chapters coming for all of us in the future. And really all we can do is do the best we can. And I think you guys did an amazing job when you were out on the road. And ironically, I wouldn't be surprised if a year or two from now, Howard's walking around the villages with some type of like wrestling belt or boxing belt that says pickleball champion, or you know, don't mess with me on the pickleball court, some type of competitive trophy that he can display with honor around the villages. That's just my personal
He has
perception.
medals already. I told him no trophies. Okay. I am not a trophy person. But he does have some medals because he's been in. Well, I guess a belt would be okay, but trophies, I can't stand trophies. But he has already been in some tournaments that he's won.
Yes. You know, so I think you guys are going to be just as successful in the villages as you were with RV Dreams. I think you're going to find, you know, amazing people there as well. But I am really, really excited for your rally. I think that'll be a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's the last one, and I really hope to see a great turnout and a good sit-off, and there will definitely be a lot of tears at the end of that one. But it'll be an emotional journey, and it'll be a really good final rally.
We have had several people sign up that have been to previous rallies. Because they want to come to the last one. You know, they're already full-timing. They don't need the lessons. They just said, you know, they're like, we got to come. This is the last one. So, you know, that'll cause us to, you know, I'm sure tear up and.
Well, and you guys have earned it. They want to be. They want to be part of the camaraderie.
We are so thankful. Yeah, we're just so thankful for those 15 years.
I was thinking back through some of that travel. Unbelievable. And you know, I've said this before. I probably said it to you on here. Because of what we did as full-time RVers for those 15 years and what we experienced, I get hit by a bus tomorrow. Don't care. No regrets because of what we did for those 15 years.
Yeah, we lived. We really lived and experienced everything we could possibly experience, and we did it together.
Unbelievable.
It was wonderful. It really was. Yeah. I mean, you think back on all those things, you know.
Don't get started.
I know.
Be here forever. Yeah.
Save it for April. Save it for April. Sorry, I just totally kicked my desk.
Right.
Guys, I honestly, I can't thank you enough. It is always a pleasure chatting with you guys and catching up. You know, the RV community and sharing the knowledge that you have with other RVers. Like, I personally want to thank you for that. And then thank you for making time and dealing with the technology hiccups that all own. You know, and again, for those that are watching, if you have any comments, you know, especially for Howard and Linda, just like Howard was saying, RV, if you Google RV Dreams, you'll find them. RV Dreams Alaska, you'll find a lot of them. But, you know, and if you're ever in the villages, you know, make sure you contact Howard before you go out there. He can give you a lay of the land, I'm sure. But with that said, guys, I really, excuse me, I really enjoy our time, and I'm super appreciative you were able to carve out some time, and I wish you so much luck in your next chapter. I know you guys are going to have an amazing time. But as always,
I want to interrupt you.
Yes,
I want to interrupt you just a second. I want to say thank you to Wholesale Warranties for our affiliate relationship, because with our relationship with you guys, you gave us so much support. You always supported our rallies, and you really made a difference in our RVing world. And I mean, you guys really, really were a great affiliate program, and we can't say enough about it.
Thanks to you and Jeff and Stacy and Missy. I mean, just a wonderful crew there, and you enhanced our RVing life as well.
Yes, you did. So we want to throw that back to you and pass that on to them as well. They're probably watching. And, you know, we always felt very, very safe that we had our warranties through you guys, and we had to use them several times, and we never had any issues. And so we felt great about promoting you guys because we had such great experiences as well. And so, and we heard from some of our readers how great they thought you guys were as well. So again, thank you guys for that affiliate relationship. It's been amazing for us.
Now, what I truly admire about both of our, you know, about both of the journeys that you have. You guys started RV Dreams based off a trip to Alaska and, you know, bonding with each other. And Jeff, our owner, was working in marine and RV probably around the same time frame, 2004, 2005, and just said there's got to be a better way. If you buy a warranty at a dealer and you break down, or for somebody or from somebody else, no offense against dealers, and you break down in Texas or California, it's very difficult to navigate that and support that. And so he kind of just started blazing the trail. And you know, I think businesses that start not for the need of prosperity or financial freedom, stuff like that, I think when they're started out of just your pure insides, it ultimately leads to a very successful, very customer focused business. And I've always appreciated that relationship with you guys as well.
Yes.
But that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to April 26th, RV Dreams Rally.
Yeah.
Probably send you guys a box of Kleenex. I may. You never know. You never know. I could just show up with like a little tiny Winnebago and just be like, guys, I'm here.
There you go.
But thanks so much for your time, and look forward to talking with you soon.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay.